feel like nothing as big a deal as it is. I think I'm always shocked when someone who is younger, who is living in a conservative town, comes up to me and says that it was really instrumental for them personally, because in like my circle, a bunch of young openly gay people living in New York, or it was like, was that a clear articulation of how they felt about it? I can't take over to
Here, some.
Okay.
Hi. I really like the show. I even was a bit addicted to the show, I must say. And I wanted to ask you if you can tell us about the relationship with the other actors, especially Gil Errol.
We're all very close. They all live in Los Angeles, and I live in New York. They live on the other side of the country. So I don't see them very often, but whenever they're in town, we get together. Whenever I'm in LA, we hang out. I think because of the intimate nature of the show, and because it was a challenge for everybody to do, just personally, because it was so emotional, and the work hours were very, very extreme. So everybody was like working until they were delirious every night. But you always bond with people when it's like 4 in the morning. We've been working for 17 hours. And we were all displaced. We shot in Toronto, so none of us were in where we're from or had any social group outside of the show. So we all like clung to each other, especially in the first year. So we're all really close and we get on. Yes?
I don't know you, but from what I heard, I have getting it that now you just travel between countries and talk with people like that. So I was really curious to know what is the benefit of this conversation? What do you like keep or to get from us to us?
The main reason I'm here, honestly, is sort of as a tourist. I have many friends who are Jewish who spend a lot of time here. I have a few Israeli friends. I've been hearing about this country for so long, and the opportunity presented itself to come. And I jumped on it because I was immensely curious. And I'm also curious about, what the experience is for gay and lesbian people. So those are my main reasons for being here and for being here.
So what do you think?
Today I did. I'm here for a week, and I went to Knesset today. Yeah. It was very interesting, and I toured all around the old city of Jerusalem. It'll be a very busy week, so I'm excited. Yes.
Okay, hi. I'm very excited. And I have a question, but before I would really like to thank you for taking such an important part in QEF. And I'd never imagined one day I would have the opportunity to thank you face to face. So thank you. You've inspired many of us, and you've affected our lives in so many ways. I don't know if you really know how many ways, so thanks. And the second thing is, we know that you're an activist, gay activist in the US, and maybe you could tell us about a successful case, some activity you did to inspire us, to give us some ideas.
I don't feel personally responsible for it. I mean, beyond hearing from younger people from the show who say, they didn't kill themselves because of watching the show, and knowing that I was out and happy and living a life of contentment, fulfillment, knowing that that example made people get through a darker time in their life is really the extent of what I begin to take any kind of personal responsibility for. And even that, a lot of it was the character of Justin, which I was only marginally a part of creating. So, I mean, hearing you say that, I feel honestly almost guilty, because I feel like I didn't actually do anything besides be myself and then do a job that I was lucky enough to get as well as I was capable. So thank you for saying that. It really humbles me.
I need to say that I have to object to that. I think you did a lot. I think that it did a lot. I know about enough people in your profession that don't come out, that don't say that they are who they are, and that will go to extremes in order to hide who they are, I think it means a lot. It's a big thing. And in the sense that we also had a character where we could both love its character, but also know that someone who's gay, who's played someone who's gay, and it's not another case of a straight actor who's doing us a favor of taking on the role. Both of those things are incredibly important, and I want to thank you for them. And I also want to ask you whether it wasn't a very difficult decision, because I know that people who are out sometimes have an meaning when they become famous.
You know, it never was a question for me at all. And I remember people were very surprised, like when we started to get press about, you know, after shooting about 3 episodes was when the reporter came who was doing this, our first big article that was going to be in New York Magazine, I think. And I was like, of course, why would I lie? Are you joking? And they were like, are you serious? You're, you know, a young actor, you don't know it. It never was a question for me. I think I grew up always wanting to be a theater actor. My only career goals were to make my living as a performer, because it's what I love and it's the only thing I'm even moderately capable of doing well sometimes. And the theater community at that point wasn't an issue. The fact that I was on a television show was so bizarre to me. I still think it's kind of amusing that I was on television. So I wasn't pursuing a kind of career where I would want to be like, I'm a straight hot guy who's, you know, like it was just, I wanted to do Shakespeare and Beckett and things that nobody would produce. I would never be on television. So also growing up, I was out so young, and my role models were, I knew the value of having a popular figure that you admired being openly gay. You know, I grew up reading, you know, Tony Kushner and Larry Kramer, and there were writers that were openly gay then. John Cameron Mitchell was out when I was in high school. He was one of the only actors that I knew of. But so that's what I admired. I wanted to be someone I admired. So it wasn't hard. It was exciting. It made me feel good how shocked people were that they thought it would be a difficult decision, because it never would be for me. But I'm sure that there have been repercussions, but I feel like it's impossible for me to say what they are, because I don't have a parallel career where I was closeted the whole time to be like, look, I got that job when I was straight, and I think, you know, I don't know. This is my mission. This is what I've done. I'm happy with it. Thank you. Yes?
I wanted to ask about the work with straight people in a gay TV show. Was it tough or tense for you or for them? Some moments, I guess.
No, for the most part, it wasn't at all. Everybody was straight except, all the main cast was straight except me and Peter Page, who played Emmett.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't awkward. Sometimes you felt like, a lot of times when Ryan or Justin were having sort of like casual sex scenes, so there'd be people who come in for like one line and a sex scene, which was really, you felt like you had to mother them, or like talk them through everything. It's okay, now we're going to kiss here. Do that. Don't worry, everything's going to be, you know, but no, it wasn't, it was surprisingly unawkward. Very occasionally, like, an actor playing, a straight actor playing a gay guy would be, and I don't know why, because they would be like sort of extra aggressive. I honestly think because they felt like they really had to go for it so hard. So like, no! But generally it was fun. It was funny. It was fine. It's odd because it's so technical that it's less awkward than doing like a romantic, like love scene where you're confessing something very personal. That would be harder to get to than doing the sex stuff.
There was a lot of romantic scenes.
And all the straight actors in the main cast were so completely comfortable with their sexuality, with everything. They were very behind the politics of the show. They were really happy to be a part of it, and so it was easy. It was actually really comforting.
You had
I
doubles?
was afraid of it.
You had doubles there?
We had doubles.
For the straight characters? Well, like,
No. No.
For the gay bashing.
Yes.
So again, I also wanted to say thank you so much. It's definitely groundbreaking to come home and see at around, I think it was about 10 p.m., which is not in the middle of the night or anything, to open a serious channel and to watch the show was amazing. We can all identify with. Finally, we have something that we can enjoy watching. I have to ask something little about the show.
All right.
I think maybe a lot of lesbians wonder about the show. Why didn't you have more lesbians on the show?
Should have.
And how come only, well, I'm not going to ask about why the only couple was, of course, married and the whole thing, and, you know, obviously, we meet each other and I'm thinking maybe already married. And as a follow-up question, I know that we always compare the L word to gay as folk.
Did you guys get the L word?
Oh, yeah. Definitely, sure.
The what?
We got the reasons and everything, and we're waiting for more seasons on both shows. And they would always say that the L word wouldn't measure up to gay as folk, because gay as folk would be, you know, the storyline would be much stronger and more believable. So I wanted also to hear your comments about the L word and how you feel about that and the whole lesbian issue.
I think we didn't have more lesbian characters, probably because the head writers were a gay couple, an older gay couple who were about, I don't know, maybe late 50s or 60s when they started writing the show, and they didn't know how to write it. They didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel like it was a voice.
I said they should have called me.
I know. They should have. They had a few female writers on the show one year, but no, I think that's why. And also, the L Word was starting to be made sort of when we were in only the 3rd season, so they knew that there was this companion that was going to focus more on the lesbian community.
Because we got it much, much later.
You got it much later?
Yeah.
Oh no. I think the L Word started when we were about halfway through our entire 5-year run. And I can't speak on the L Word because I actually never watched it. But I know the actors.
Okay, then that's fine. Thank
I know. I know you don't. I wish theater toured internationally. It doesn't really. I don't know. I mean, it's never been a main focus of mine. I would be happy if the opportunity presents itself, but my theater career is what I do all the time, you know. We'll see. I like to think that an opportunity is going to pop up at some point again in my career, but
There's a lot. I think we had a lot of